Every night, long after the last customer left the Apple Store, after the glass doors slid shut, after the lights dimmed, one small figure would appear in the corner of the security camera frame. A boy, thin, wrapped in a hoodie that wasn't warm enough, his backpack used as a pillow, his phone plugged into a portable power bank that barely worked. He wasn't there to make trouble, he wasn't even trying to hide. He was just there, night after night, always in the same spot, right beside the side vent where warm air leaked out. And always with the same thing in his hands, a cracked notebook filled with math problems, and a school Chromebook running on Apple Store Wi-Fi. At first, security thought he was just passing through. Then a week went by, then two, and suddenly, everyone, from the night guard to the store manager, recognized him. Some even started calling him the Wi-Fi kid, but they didn't know the real story. Not yet, and they definitely didn't know that one quiet Tuesday morning, the CEO of one of the world's most valuable companies would open a security report, see the boy's face, and feel something shift inside him. Not pity, not curiosity, something deeper. Something that would set off a chain of events no one on that staff could have imagined. The boy's name was Eli, 12 years old, soft-spoken. The kind of kid who apologized even when he didn't need to. He had once lived in a small apartment with his mom, but when her second job cut her hours, the bills stacked up, and the landlord didn't wait. They ended up in a temporary shelter, one that closed early every night, leaving them outside until the next morning. And for a kid who took school seriously, losing internet meant falling behind, so he looked for a place, any place, where he could stay warm enough, stay safe enough, and stay connected long enough to finish his homework. The Apple Store became that place. He never asked anyone for anything. He just quietly sat on the pavement, head bent over his assignments, doing what every kid in his class did at home, except he didn't have a home. The staff noticed his politeness first, then his consistency, then the fact that he wasn't bothering anyone, just working. Most nights, the guard would whisper, "You doing all right out here, buddy?" And Eli would nod with a small smile. But one night, a gust of cold wind hit hard. Eli shivered so violently his pencil shook, and that was the night the guard wrote a note in the incident log. Just a short entry. "Kid outside again. It's getting colder." He didn't know that the log automatically synced to corporate, or that corporate reviewed flagged entries for liability reasons, or that the CEO himself checked those reports when traveling. Nobody knew, but the next morning, somewhere across the country, an executive refreshed a dashboard and froze. A grainy snapshot on the screen showed a small boy curled up on the concrete, bathed in the glow of an Apple logo, and the CEO whispered, "Why is a child outside my store at night?" Everything changed with that question. What would you have done if you saw that camera footage? Have you experienced this? Comment below. Hey there, my wonderful family and friends, welcome back. If you're ready to dive into today's story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tell me in the comments where you're tuning in from. I love seeing where everyone's watching. And guess what? There's another amazing story coming your way tomorrow, one you definitely don't want to miss. Alright then, let's get started. The CEO couldn't shake the image. He had reviewed security incidents for years. Slip and falls, late night deliveries, the usual. But never a child quietly studying on the sidewalk like it was the most normal thing in the world. So he called the store, not his assistant, not a regional manager, he called himself. The morning crew didn't believe it at first. "Wait, who is this again?" "This is who you think it is. I need to know about the boy outside your store." Silence. Then the manager cleared her throat. "He doesn't cause trouble, he just studies every night." The CEO replied with something the staff didn't expect. "I want to meet him." That single sentence sent a wave of confusion, nerves, and curiosity through the entire store. That night, everyone was on alert. Security checked the cameras more than usual. The manager paced, but Eli was the same as always. Knees tucked to his chest, Chromebook open, pencil tapping. The CEO arrived without an entourage, no cameras, no media. Just a hooded jacket and a pair of sneakers that made him look like any other customer. He approached quietly and sat down beside the boy, right there on the cold pavement. Eli glanced up, Startled, "You alright if I sit here?" the CEO asked gently. Eli hesitated, then nodded. He wasn't used to adults choosing to sit on the ground next to him. After a moment, the CEO pointed to the math worksheet. "You're pretty focused. Most kids your age wouldn't be doing fractions at night." Eli shrugged softly. "Gotta keep my grades up if I want to go to college." The CEO felt his chest tighten. The determination, the humility, the hope. Despite everything stacked against this kid, they talked for almost an hour, about school, about the Chromebook that barely held a charge, about how he used the store's Wi-Fi because the shelter didn't have any. But the moment that changed everything was when Eli said, "I just want to make my mom proud. She works so hard." It wasn't said with resentment. It was said with love, pure, quiet love. At the end of their conversation, the CEO tried to offer him dinner money. Eli shook his head. "My mom says don't take money from strangers, but thank you." That, right there, caught the CEO off guard. Most adults would have accepted it. Most kids in his situation might have grabbed it fast, but not Eli. That one choice revealed a character stronger than most grown men he'd worked with. The CEO stood, looked at the boy, and said, "Come back tomorrow, same time. I have something for you." Eli nodded politely, not realizing the magnitude of what he'd just set into motion. Because the CEO didn't return to his hotel that night, he drove straight to a regional office, called 2 senior directors, pulled an all-nighter with a legal team, for one boy, for one chance to change a kid's path. If you were the CEO, what would you have done differently? Have you experienced this? Comment below. The next evening, Eli showed up earlier than usual. Same hoodie, same backpack, same quiet determination. But something felt different. The store manager was outside this time. Not pacing, waiting. She smiled and said, "Hey, Eli, can you come inside with me for a minute?" Eli froze. Kids like him learned early that being invited inside didn't always mean something good. Rules were rules, and glass doors like these usually meant not for you. "I'm not in trouble," he said quickly. She shook her head. "Not at all." Inside, the store lights were dimmed low. The tables were cleared, and standing near the back, hands in his pockets, was the CEO. Eli's eyes widened. "You came back," Eli said. "I promised," the CEO replied. They sat at a table, no rush, no pressure. The CEO slid a small box across the table. Inside was a brand new laptop. Not the latest model, not flashy, reliable. Next to it was a hotspot device, "So you don't have to sit outside anymore," the CEO said softly. Eli stared at it like it might disappear. "For me?" he asked. "For you." Eli's hands trembled. He blinked fast, trying to stay composed. "Thank you," he whispered. But the CEO wasn't done. The CEO leaned forward. "I looked into your school," he said. "Your grades are strong. Your teachers say you never miss assignments." Eli nodded slowly, unsure where this was going. "There's a program we fund. Mentorship, academic support, meals, transportation." Eli's mouth fell open. "But here's the part that matters most," the CEO added. "We don't separate families." That's when Eli broke. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears dropping onto the table. "My mom, she won't have to worry?" Eli asked. "She won't," the CEO said. "We'll help both of you." That night, for the first time in weeks, Eli didn't sleep on concrete. They were placed in a temporary apartment. Not charity, but partnership, support with dignity. Eli slept in a real bed and still woke up early. Out of habit, the story didn't stop there. The CEO made one final decision that stunned his own team. He ordered that every Apple Store nationwide partner with local organizations to identify kids using store Wi-Fi after hours for school. No press release, no announcement, just action. Managers were told, if you see a kid trying to learn, don't push them away, find them help, and quietly, store by store, lives began to shift. Eli didn't know any of that yet. All he knew was that for the first time, his homework was done at a table, with light, with warmth, with hope. He texted his mom a photo of his laptop and wrote, "I think things are gonna be okay." Would you have believed something this big could come from one moment? Have you experienced this? Comment below. A year later, the security cameras outside that Apple store still rolled every night. But the sidewalk was empty now. No small figure curled against the glass. No backpack for a pillow, no glow from a borrowed Wi-Fi signal. Because Eli didn't need it anymore. He had a desk now, a lamp, a space that was his. Eli's grades didn't just improve. They soared with stable internet, tutoring, and mentorship. He started doing something no one expected. He began helping other kids. After school, he stayed late, explaining math problems to classmates who struggled. The same patience he'd learned while sitting alone outside a store, now shared freely. His teachers noticed. One of them asked him why he stayed after class so often. Eli shrugged and said, "Someone helped me when they didn't have to." His mom found steady work again. Not overnight. Not magically, but with support instead of stress. She no longer had to choose between rent and groceries. She slept through the night, and for the first time in a long while, she smiled without forcing it. What no one expected was how far the impact traveled. Store managers across the country began reporting similar stories. Kids who had been quietly learning outside were now being connected to help. Parents who thought they were invisible, finally seen, and the CEO, he never gave a speech about it, never posted it online. When asked privately why he cared so much about one boy, he said, "Because talent doesn't disappear when someone struggles. It just waits to be noticed." Months later, Eli returned to the store. Not to sit outside, but to walk in. He wore clean sneakers, carried his laptop in a proper case, and held his head a little higher. He asked the manager if he could thank the night guard. When the guard saw him, his eyes widened. "You look different," he said. Eli smiled. "Yeah, I feel different." Before leaving, Eli stopped by the glass wall where he used to sleep. He pressed his palm against it, just for a second. Then he turned and walked away. Sometimes, life doesn't change because of massive plans or big speeches. Sometimes it changes because someone noticed. A camera, a question, a decision to act instead of look away. And maybe the real lesson isn't about a CEO or a company at all. Maybe it's about what happens when ordinary people choose compassion in small moments. Because you never know who's doing their homework in the cold, just waiting for someone to care. What would you have done in that moment? Have you ever received unexpected help? Comment below. Tag someone who needs to see this. Faith in humanity restored.
Thank you for watching all the way through. If this story moved you, the next one will surprise you in ways you won't expect. Go ahead and click the video on your screen. Your next story awaits.